Hi everybody, it's Carla from Casey Creates. I hope everyone is well, and I just wanted to come and show you my newest journal creation. Probably over the last 6 months, I'd say one of my goals was to make journals in my favorite theme, just creating them as if I were creating them just for myself. And so I've already done videos on these, but my favorite themes among them are the woodland forest, and so I had done this woodland journal, and I won't show you the whole thing because I did do a long video showing you them, but I ended up really happy with how it turned out, with the interactive little pockets and windows and dangles and trims. And this one's in all of the beautiful earthy colors that I love. There's lots of embroidery and just images that would take you into a wonderful enchanted forest. This was my winter fairy forest image, and there's lots of pockets. This is a floating pocket, and I put a little journaling card in there. And I used all the things I love, like daisies and denim and gingham and leaf trim. This is a fun little magnetic door, fairy door, that opens. And mushrooms. This is a floating little mushroom that could be like a bookmark. Lots of buttons. Another pocket. This is my sort of shabby chic themed page with some tags. Actually, I think this is a card, yeah, a little note card. And little fairies. So lots of vintage lace trim. There's some dangles. So there's the woodland forest one that I created as if I was creating it just for me. And then I did the gypsy journal that has beautiful stick pins and gold and navy blue and bold colors that I don't usually use but had so much fun with. Some jacquard lace and sparkly trim and dangles. It's got pom-poms, pockets, and it hopefully has like a really free spirit to it. And I have a video of this one. And there's lots of burlap and natural fibers. This one's my kind of ethereal, whimsical pages. And I love that little blingy one that says wild. And there's a separate writing journal that goes in there with pom-poms and coins and tags. And it's all burlap cover. That tucks in the middle, and it's another, I call this one my Gypsy Princess pages. Another one that's just real kind of Spanish in flavor, which I love that. And then this bright page with the caravan. So like I said, I decided to make journals on the theme of things that I love as if I were creating them just for myself. And so this is the last one I've done recently, or finished. I had tucked it away, got a little overwhelmed, and decided I would give it a rest, and I haven't really touched it for about 3 months, and I decided it's time to finish it. So this is the one on my shabby chic theme. And I used lots of creams and pinks and greens because those are my favorite colors, and lots of lace and feminine girly kind of looks to it. This is the back. It's got lots of layers of chiffon, and this front of the cover, I covered it with this beautiful Italian thick lace. It was from a brand new dress I got at a thrift store for like $5, and so it was loaded with this lace. I was happy to have a use for it, but I didn't mean to untie it yet, but I'll turn it over. I can't get it all in frame, but I had this long strand of pearls that I haven't decided I want to cut up yet, so they're just on there. And I had this tied. It's just a long piece of fabric lace to close it, and ties. And this, because I haven't decided how I want to attach the pearls yet, I just decided to keep them, I'll just keep them on the ribbon so it can come apart like that. Okay, set those aside, and hopefully you can see all of it. Let me see if I can move my camera up a teeny bit more without it falling. Okay, that's better. So anyway, it's loaded with cream laces and trims and chiffon ruffle and layer after layer, the way I love it. And this is more of that Italian lace that I covered the front and back with. And then I have this bridal trim that's framing it, and then inside I've got a beautiful rose image. I love vintage roses, and so this is to symbolize that. And then I've got all different textures of fabric roses. I've got satin ones and chiffon ones, and even a little bit of a I think it might be hemp or burlap rolled rose. And I tucked in some flat backs and trimmed things with lots of pearls. This doily is gorgeous. It's like a really soft pink. It was gifted to me from the lovely Debbie Vignola, and I have used these throughout. I love those, and it gives it a little peachy pink, kind of picks up the peachy pink in the image. And this isn't probably going to stay. It's a kilt pin with pearls. I stuck it there for now, but like I often do, as I go through them, I start seeing things I want to change up a bit, and that's probably one of them. And so we'll go inside and I will show you the journal. There's not a lot of pages. There's a lot to look at, though. I was seeing if I could find my, here it is, my tape measure. It is approximately 8.5, well, it's about 8 inches across. And then from where the ruffle starts, I should say, it's 12. So 8 by 12, it's pretty big. I call it a lap journal because I wanted to get the feel that you have when you're sitting on the couch and you're cozy with a pillow in your lap. Well, instead, I thought it'd be fun to have a fun lacy fabric journal in your lap. And you can see I've got trims on the edges there. The first 2 pages are green and creams and fairy themed, and the word imagine and dream, and lots of laces and trims. Here's a doily pocket. We could tuck tags in. I haven't done that yet. And then I made little floral embellishments and cut bits and pieces from doilies, and there's a crocheted little butterfly there. I apologize, this was about the best time of day I could do a video, so the lighting isn't so great. I put this is a beautiful green color sash from a little girl's dress with the bow, and then I put a double bow in the center, which is gingham, and some more bits from that vintage doily and some paper flowers. And then I've got this really nice thick tea-dyed applique with little embroidered daisy appliques, and I love this green fabric. It is so amazing. I have little stories to tell you, but I was in the thrift store last time. Now I bought this little girl's dress and thrifted and upcycled it for crafts in Arizona when I lived there. Well, last week, I now live in South Carolina, and I found the exact same dress. So I didn't buy it though. I thought, you know, I've used it a lot and I still have some left, but it's fun to know you can still run into some of the favorite pieces in different parts of the country. So anyway, these are my 2 kind of dreamy fairy pages, all fabric. It's a fabric image of one of the flower fairies, she's the Primrose Fairy. And then the next two pages are of my other favorite color, which is pink. And I have just as girly pink as I could get it. And lots of pink pearl trim and tea-dyed lace trim. This is another one of those beautiful doilies gifted from Debbie. Thank you again, Debbie. And a beautiful flower. This was gifted to me too, and I regret that I don't remember by who, but it's got these really pretty little gold flecks in it and very fairy-like. And then I have a pocket with some vintage floral tags that I made, and I just pushed a little eyelet there to hold them together, and some lace printed stationery to back them. And there's some pink eyelet lace trim here, and this beautiful lace that I covered the pages with. And up top, which is I think a fun little element, I put bunting flags. And I just cut them with cardboard and mounted vintage fabric over the top. This is a pretty little tiny rosebud floral print linen. And they just string across here with the pretty narrow lace trim. And then I put these little acrylic rose flatbacks on each side and in the middle, and it just folds in. And then these little points were from a really old vintage handkerchief that I tea-dyed. And it's funny, when you wash these, the staining doesn't always come out. So then when you tea dye them, so I wash them and then I tea dye them in hot tea, it accentuates the vintage stains. So I don't mind that because I know it's clean. It's just truly antique stained. And so again, it's just got lots of trim and tags. Here's two more of the rose print tags. And they're backed with the same stationery. And then I made a larger tag with a little vintage girl image there. And then this little satin roses sort of serves as a stopper for them, so because I like that they peek out on the side. And then I've got this really pretty fabric rose image that I framed with some vintage lace. So those are my two pink pages. And then I've got two more just shabby pretty pages. It's not, this one doesn't have any pockets or anything. It just has, it's just decorative. So I backed it with some pretty lace. And this is polished cotton fabric. It's really pretty, kind of vintage floral print. And I put a pretty little paper flower there. This journal is a mixture of paper and fabric, because I love them both probably just the same. So I try to use both. And I've got a pretty organza bow here, just layered up with some pretty paper roses. And then this page is a pocket, and I decoupaged this beautiful image onto tracing paper, because anything that I'm creating for myself, I like to hear the crinkling of the tracing paper. So I have the little sentiment believe, and just a little collage of vintage rose print paper and trim, and the paper rolled roses, and tea-dyed lace trim on the edges. And then on the inside I have some little surprises. This is a little vintage notebook that I used the vintage rose print paper, and inside I just put several pages of this really pretty pink tracing paper. And I discovered that you can write really well on tracing paper. Parchment paper is a little waxier, so it doesn't write as well, but tracing paper you can. And then I made this decoupaged and stitched onto this envelope. I made it out of craft paper. Oh, and then I guess I did put just some more pages of the pink dyed tracing paper, which works for journaling. So these tuck down into my little decoupaged pocket here. On the top corner, I made a little tab. I don't know if you can see that, but I just stitched a little rose print tab, kind of as a page turner, but I put a fun little vintage button there. And it turns over. This page, it didn't turn out as well as I had hoped. The decoupaging got real wrinkly, but because I love textural things, it ended up being okay. So it's just got layers of that same beautiful rose shabby chic print, and then this image, which is a fairly common fairy image that I got in a pre-made journal that I ordered, and I just used, it was made for creating journals, so I copied it onto the tracing paper, and there's the little tab up top. So the next page is just all cream, beautiful cream laces. This is a pocket, and it's made with a beautiful vintage old handkerchief. And then I had this trim that I laced some cream jacquard ribbon through, and just a little love applique with some eyelash trim. And then I made a little doily flower and put a satiny silken lace flower in the center with a little acrylic rose in the middle. So this one is decorative, but it also has a pocket. And then up top I just made a little embellishment by layering laces and applique, and this is more of that beautiful vintage handkerchief. I just love that creamy, yellow creamy color. And then I trimmed it again with more of that tea dyed lace. And then 2 more pages. This is a pocket page. It's got an image of a lady in the garden having tea, which is another one of my favorite ideas. I don't necessarily have tea in the garden, but it would be lovely to do that. And then I have got some torn vintage paper that I glued onto the fabric backing, and this is another one of these trims that I absolutely love. And I think, I hope I've got it right, that the lovely Edwina Kench gifted this to me not long ago. A bunch of white, and I tea dyed some of it, and it's just so delicate and pretty, and I love it. So there's that page connected to this page, which is more of the, I vintaged the edges with ink, and then this is a decoupage napkin, and it's on cheesecloth, and then I stitched this beautiful shabby chic rose image that you can find online a lot, but Mary Barrett, hi Mary, she gifted me this gorgeous pink shabby chic embellishment folder and some of these beautiful images, and I printed this one onto fabric, which I think worked really well on this page. So this is another one of my paper pages. It's decoupage napkin and paper, and on the back of that one I just kept it real vintage and stashed some, I made a tag out of a library pocket. I think that's what this was. No, this was a glassine bag, and I cut it on a diagonal and just put some doilies. So this is a pocket up top, and then there's a pocket here, and then I made this fun little cluster of vintage flowers, and these flowers are really old milliner flowers. Let me see if I can point them out to you. This one and this one, and then I incorporated some buttons and a little burlap bow, just a bunch of little bits and pieces that draws you in and hopefully makes you pick out all the little tiny details. That's my goal anyway. And then I have this beautiful vintage little calling card that was gifted to me from the wonderful Olivia Hernandez. She just finds all the most gorgeous vintage things, and she had sent me some wonderful Happy Mail, and this was one of them. And so I tucked that in there. And then this came from a digital kit that I purchased, and I love to line them with the tracing paper. So it's a faux envelope that opens up, and then this is just note paper on tea-dyed paper. And you can either tuck one in there and in there. So then the next page is a sweet little page with a little girl. It's got I love the pink hat she has on and the flower. And then more of that polished cotton fabric. And then I just put a little bit of ivy trim. Is that what you would call this? It's vining trim. And then the satin flowers with the diamond little rhinestones inside. And then a glistening piece of bridal applique there. So that's another one. And then I just ruched up some, I don't know what that is, got on my lace. Anyway, I ruched up some beautiful lace to trim the edge here. And like I said, I just created this with everything in mind that I would want in my journal that I would make for myself. Again, I think these were gifted to me from Edwina Kench. Thank you, Edwina. Everyone was so wonderfully kind to me on my birthday. I'd never be able to repay all of you for all of your generous Happy Mail. But I will try to shout you out when I see what I've created with it. And this one is with Lily of the Valley. Now, I do have... I'm going to do something with this from that book. Where is that book? I thought I brought it over here. I guess I didn't. But anyway, it's a vintage book of flowers, and in there it talks about the Lily of the Valley. And so at some point I'm going to either put it on a fabric tag or find a way to tuck this in just to have something that's readable. I could probably even, I think I will, after I create whatever it is I'm going to with this, I'd probably tuck it under, because I have an actual Lily of the Valley stem right here. And then I've got some pretty, let me move my loud pink scissors, some pretty little ruffly chiffon trim here that's got little flecks of gold. And then this is an embroidered applique that I cut painstakingly out of a piece of pillowcase, I think it was, or it might have been a kitchen tea towel, but it had these pretty Lily of the Valley embroidery pieces, and so I wanted that for layering. And then more of that beautiful green fabric, eyelet fabric, and then I just trimmed around the edges with the beautiful chiffon that you can see up top here. And there's eyelash trim, a beautiful flower fairy here. It's a common image, I think, but it's funny because he's playing them like bells. It's fun. And then I've got the burlap and satin lining trim here on the edges. So that's my Shabby Chic fairy-esque fabric journal, and I wanted to just show it to you because I finished it, and it's always fun to share my creations with you. You're always so kind in your comments and compliments, and that's motivation to keep going and doing what I love. And trust me, the motivation comes from seeing your beautiful creations as well. I can't even tell you how jaw-dropping some of your work is. It's just amazing and makes me want to always do better. So thanks for watching with me. Thanks for creating and making videos for me to enjoy, and I always look forward to joining the crafting community. And so thank you, and I will talk to you guys again soon. Bye bye.